everyone, Ann Wyatt here, Vice President of Client Success for HealthFitness. Welcome to the HealthFitness Podcast. In today's episode, we're discussing recovery, why it's trending, why it matters, and how it's becoming a game changer for employee health and everyday performance, whether you're in or out of the workplace. So joining me to do that today is Laura Ochoa. Laura is our Director of Client Success for HealthFitness. So welcome, Laura.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, why don't you give the audience a little bit of your background so they can understand how you're coming to us to speak on this important topic of recovery today?
Great. Thank you so much. I've been in the industry for about 20 years now, and almost 17 of those have been with HealthFitness. I started out, teaching boot camps and personal training and health coaching, and I really just love working with a wide variety of people, which I get to do in my book of business now. So I get to support clients in tech. We have some clients in energy, manufacturing, and biopharmaceutical.
So you are seeing it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Excellent. Before we get started and dive into this important topic, I thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about our 50th anniversary. And with that, we are throwing it back. So what I want to know is, what's your favorite fitness throwback from back in the day?
Oh man, one of my first favorite fitness loves was Billy Blank's kickboxing. Would come home from
Billy.
school, put on the old VHS, and hit it. So if you don't know what a VHS is for our younger crowd, that was before DVDs.
Oh, they had a good run, the VHS, didn't they? Excellent. Well, listen, recovery has become such a big topic, and I want to know, when you think about recovery, what do you think about?
Yeah, that's such a great question because my immediate thought goes to post workout, thinking about stretching, flexibility work, and cooling down. But it's so much more than that. Recovery is so holistic, right? So it also means getting the right sleep levels, having the right hydration levels, making the right food choices, and even working in stress management techniques. All those things contribute to
Mhm.
injury prevention.
Yeah. So you have such a large book of business with so many different types of industries you're working with. So I want to understand, how is it showing up in the workplace, and what are you seeing and how we're delivering those types of recovery services across the board?
Sure. First of all, it's so exciting to see that clients are starting to prioritize this as
Yeah.
our participants. This is a really fun topic to see grow. We're seeing consistently more dedicated spaces on campus for
Hmm.
recovery services. And this might include simple things like, having a place to stretch with some active release tools like tennis balls, lacrosse balls, and foam rollers. And then you have some clients that are really investing in things like hydro massage and massage chairs,
Hmm.
different apparatuses for stretching, even infrared at some locations. And so
Right.
it really just kind of depends on the culture of the client site.
Right. And are you seeing it show up in the programming as well? Like, what's happening from that perspective, like classes or just different ways people can learn about recovery?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can have everything under the sun, but if people don't know how to use it or why it's important, it's not going to be utilized. And so we are certainly weaving these things into classes. We might have a foam rolling class, or maybe it's just a natural part of the beginning and the end of a class. We also have a lot of seminars and education opportunities. And we even have some really nice programs that help people work in some of the daily behaviors around recovery. And in more recent years, we're growing our assisted stretching service line as well.
Yeah, I love that. It was funny when you said people need to be educated on how to use the tools. I know at a couple of our accounts, we have a setup where all the massage tools, the percussion tools, they're all there ready to go. But again, if you don't know what you're doing, and we have a little QR code now where it will help you scan it, and people are always scanning QR codes now. What a great way for it to be a helpful tool when all is said and done. So
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
I love that.
It can be intimidating if you don't know how to use those things. So
Yeah, they look like, medieval tools sometimes. Uh, well, Laura, talk to me, why do you think recovery is trending?
yeah, it's so prevalent in the market, and people have so much information at their fingertips that they're
Yeah,
seeing it and hearing about it. I think it's trending at the workplace because we really have an opportunity to help people understand what's right for them and how saturated everything is, really being able to find the applicable strategies for each person's needs.
right. Well, why do you think companies should invest in these types of offerings? What
Mm.
does it do for a company?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that the recovery is as important as the movement or the workout itself. When we're
Mhm.
looking at feeling better, preventing injury, being more present and productive at work, it's so hugely important for people to feel their best and to move their best, and that all trickles into quality of life as well as performance. So.
Absolutely. Well, and I think too, when you're showing that you're offering trending uh, programs and services, that certainly attracts talent as well. And I know that we've seen, sites where some of the accounts that we work with, where they are offering, to your point, these dedicated
Mhm.
spaces. There's a cryo chamber. There's infrared light. There's opportunity to take fun classes and just learn more about how to focus more on the mindfulness and the recovery when all is said and done. So I love that we're seeing those investments, but I also know that companies are really not fully knowing what to do. And I know we've been asked the question many times, well, geez, how do we even get started? But before I go there, Laura, I want you to talk a little bit about our approach and what you're telling companies when they ask you, hey, you know, why should we be doing this? And help me understand how we should surface this up to a client so they understand why this is so important in the approach of how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned assisted stretching earlier, and that's become really popular recently. And there's a few reasons why. The market is growing in that area. And so
Yep.
people are seeing it more and they're aware of it. And it also helps us keep people on campus for those types of services so that it's convenient for them and they can prioritize their self care. And they also have this continuity of care where we offer all these other options for services. They see it all under one umbrella. So
Yeah.
that is an option for employers.
And
It
one
really
and
helps to
real
tailor.
quick, one of the things about the assisted stretching is, to your point, we are seeing it just popping up in boutiques all across the country. It's so popular right now. So having it right there in house is, you couldn't stress the importance enough because people don't have to leave to do those services for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that our Avid Fitness Center members are interested in. And it's also something
Hmm.
that maybe people who aren't as active are interested in because it's
Right.
similar to massage. People can come in to feel some immediate relief and
Yeah.
immediate stress relief to promote well being. Or they can have it as a regular part of their routine where maybe they're doing it post workout, or if they're training for an event, they can work it in to prevent injury and just recover faster.
And when you think about what is actually happening to the body when they're doing recovery, what is it? Like, why should they know that it's a good thing to offer their people?
Yeah, I mean, how much time do you have, right? But it's it's something that we have the ability to tailor. So everyone has different movement patterns. So being able to help someone's specific body alignment needs progress is just
Mhm.
so important. And we're getting more blood flow to that area. We're helping that area recover faster. And we're also teaching them how to feel better so that in and around their sessions with us, they have some tools and strategies to keep the momentum going.
Got it. So how does someone get started? Companies come to us all the time, "Hey, we wanna do this, but we don't even know what recovery is, but we wanna do it." So
Yeah,
what are we telling
absolutely.
them?
Some real, easy ways to start that can make a big impact would be stretch or energy breaks. That's
Mhm.
something we can go to people to do for different department meetings or conferences or different locations on campus. We could also offer them virtually as a way for someone to just take a few moments and step away from a meeting and just realign their body. So.
Yeah, that's very simple and very effective. So what a great, launching pad, but what else can they do?
Yeah, we talked about spaces earlier. I think it's very easy to carve out some space for flexibility work. It doesn't need to be huge. But again, having those triggers for people throughout their day where they can have some healthy behavior become a natural part of their routine, whether it's in the fitness center, whether there's a small conference space, on the floor where their office is, if they're in a manufacturing or lab setting, it could be there as well. And just offering some tools and techniques for people to just take a few minutes aside.
Yeah, and I think it brings visibility to it by having that space. I know it's the number one thing we're seeing is so many clients are now focusing on how are we renovating our space, especially their obviously their fitness space.
Mhm.
And I know that making that dedicated area where the people can have a quiet space or a space to access these tools just becomes more prevalent. And again, I think it's gets the visibility, so clients
Yeah.
are or participants, I should say, are really taking advantage of it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Anything else they can think about to start with?
I would say also, just some education around it. When people start to make
Mhm.
the correlation of these behaviors with how they feel, it's so motivational. So, helping them understand it's not just blood flow. You're also in fact impacting your nervous system. So you're helping to reduce the fight or flight response, and you're also helping to promote healing and digestion. I notice it myself. I hate to say this, but the older I get, if I don't get a good night's sleep or if I'm not making good nutritional choices and I've had a tough workout, I find that I get way more sore than I would if I'm doing all of these other things as well. So just helping them correlate their behaviors to how they feel again helps drive engagement and utilization to the different services or tools that we might be offering.
Yeah, and I know we think about, people trying to avoid burnout now with the hybrid
Mhm.
workforce when they're in the workplace for those couple of days during the week. It could be 2, it could be 3 or 4, or maybe it's all 5 and they're not hybrid anymore. But people are not making the time for themselves. We're seeing that they're in the office, they're in meetings from the get-go until they walk out the door, and so making
Yeah.
sure that these types of services and spaces are available helps so much from that perspective as well.
It's about making it convenient for people, and we talked a bit
Mhm.
about that, but making that self-care feel like just a natural part of their days, making movement a natural part of their habits throughout the day,
Mhm.
and creating those relationships with our staff is a great way to do that because it creates that social support and accountability.
Well, that sounds like a winning formula for sure. Well, listen, we are just about out of time, but I do have a quickie quiz because I like to find
Ooh.
out. I know you focus on, and your team focus on how to help our participants. I want to know how you're making yourself, taking time for yourself. So I want to know right now, what is your favorite workout activity that you're doing?
Absolutely. I love lifting weights. The way that I do that always kind of changes with my routine, but I've always just loved the energy I get from it, and feeling stronger and feeling power is a lot of fun for me. So I like to
That's
lift.
that's a trend too. We've talked about that too, so that's important. All right, what is your favorite healthy snack?
I'm a big fan of avocado toast, but I also like to layer on cottage cheese on top of it.
Cottage cheese. I've not tried that. Maybe I'll add that to my repertoire. Very, very good to hear. All
Yeah.
right. And so appropriate for today with our topic, but what is your favorite form of recovery or way you recharge?
Yeah, I love stretching. So I'm not one of those people that needs to be convinced, but one of my favorite things to do is put on some good music in the evening and grab a foam roller or a lacrosse ball and just spend some time on the floor, just kind of working out whatever might have gotten tight or imbalanced throughout the day. So
I love it. And what music do you listen to?
I love everything, but for that, I've been enjoying doing some Spotify, acoustic cover type of channels. So
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much today, Laura, and thank you to our audience for listening in.
thanks for having me, Ann.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found today's discussion both thought provoking and enjoyable. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe and share this episode with your colleagues and friends. We'd really love for you to stay connected with us. Until next time, take care, stay active, and stay curious.